On CBS from Vaught-Hemingway Stadium in Oxford as LSU comes to town to take on the Rebels of Ole Miss. Teams in an SEC battle. The third-ranked Tigers of LSU with a 9-1 record against the Rebels of Ole Miss, who come in 8-2. Good afternoon, everybody. Vern Lundquist along with Todd Blackledge and Jill Arrington. In their careers, most athletes only can hope for a handful of days like this one, a day bursting with opportunity and potential. For LSU, the dream remains attainable, a dream of winning their first national championship since 1958. They're getting a little help from Michigan, but they must win this one. You've just heard from legendary coach John Vaught. He is now 94 years of age. He was 54 the last time Ole Miss claimed an SEC championship. They can get into the championship game if they win today's battle. Here are the standings, which show Ole Miss with 6 consecutive victories in the SEC. LSU one back at 5-1. Well, Todd, it's all set. I think we're going to enjoy this, and I particularly am looking forward to the Ole Miss offense against this LSU defense.
Yeah, it's a classic battle of strength versus strength. The Ole Miss offense leads the league in scoring, in passing, in total offense. This LSU defense, the stingiest defense in all of college football, and according to Alabama quarterback Brody Croyle, who played both of them, every bit as good as the Oklahoma defense. Interestingly enough, both of these units take their cue from a senior All-American. For Ole Miss, it's their quarterback, Eli Manning, and he is better than the average fan possibly understands, because aside from his physical skills, which are immense, it's how his mind works that sets him apart from other quarterbacks. His ability to see and recognize things quickly and manage the game at the line of scrimmage, I think, is what makes him special. And that will be critical today against an LSU defense that is going to come at him from a lot of different angles, give him a lot of different looks. His ability to see, to set the protections, to get his team on the same page, and then when he has all that done, to deliver the play will be critical today against an LSU defense that is as good as he's faced. Now, speaking of this LSU defense, they take their cue from their senior defensive tackle, Chad Lavalais. He is the anchor of this defense. Even though this defense loves to blitz and bring people from a lot of directions and around the guy inside, he leads this team with 6 sacks and 12 more tackles behind the line of scrimmage. But he's a coach's dream, which means he plays every play like it's his last, and this entire LSU defense feeds off of the play and the effort of Chad Lavalais.
Just a moment ago, just a little enthusiasm on the LSU sideline. It is a spectacular mid-November afternoon in the South, 73 degrees, 57% humidity, and a forecast of partly cloudy. Well, Baton Rouge and Oxford separated by 145 miles. This is the 92nd meeting between the two, but somewhat shockingly, it's only the 11th meeting ever here in Oxford. For years, they played the game either in Jackson or Baton Rouge because of the size of this stadium. It now holds 60,500. I promise you there are many more than that who are here. LSU won the toss. They've elected to take the option in the second half, so Ole Miss will receive as we get underway. Chris Jackson will kick off for the Tigers. Chris Collins and Brian Brown are deep for the Rebels of Ole Miss. Brian Brown at the 6, the 20, down at the 27. Well, usually Jill Arrington is down on the sideline, but for the moment, she's about 2 blocks away. Jill?
Well, Vern, there's tailgating, and then there's tailgating in the Grove. I'm right here in the Grove in the middle of the Ole Miss campus. This is one of the most unique atmospheres in all of college football. Now, these Ole Miss fans know it's been 40 years since they've been SEC champions, and today they have their shot to clinch the SEC West. In fact, there'll be over 20,000 fans right here in the Grove, even after kickoff, in anticipation of today's big game.
And that anticipation of success, Jill, is fulfilled on the first play as Eli Manning finds Mike Espy.
Well, LSU is in good position as we take a look at what Eli Manning has done throughout his career. Holder of 45 records, many of those records previously held by his father, Archie. But he is playing his best football, and this is his final year in Oxford.
That's a first down in the 11-yard gain. First down, backs are split. Tremaine Turner is the running back. And Manning with two wideouts, left and right. There's a toss to the right side, the fullback, Lorenzo Townsend, and he lost a yard. Well, you've been introduced to Eli Manning. Let's introduce you to the Earthlink starting lineups. And up front for Ole Miss, kind of miraculously, this offensive line is intact. 3 of them injured 2 weeks ago in the win at Auburn. Stallings, Buckles, Sawyer, Johnson, and Woodruff are back on the field. Turner and Townsend in the backfield. Chris Collins and Mike Espy the wideouts. And Eric Rice is the tight end. And as you can see, Ole Miss with great success on the opening drive of their last 8 games. Second down and 11. Blitz from the corner. Manning steps up, avoids it, goes deep, and overthrows Eric Rice, his tight end.
And he had him. He had Eric Rice open, and he did a marvelous job of stepping up slightly to avoid the unblocked guy because LaRon Landry was coming unblocked.
And here is the defense for LSU. And they are outstanding. Spears and Hill on the corners, Williams and Lavalais in the middle. The linebackers, Eric Alexander, Lionel Turner, and Cameron Vaughn. And in the secondary, you've got Webster, Landry, Jack Hunt, and Travis Daniels.
This is where LSU excels. Third down and long. They are very, very difficult. And LSU, another one of those categories where they lead the conference.
Here's the blitz. Manning goes deep right side for man. Coverage, and it's incomplete. It'll be 4th down.
See, when they give you 3rd and long, most defenses play soft. LSU does just the opposite. When they get 3rd and long, they like to bring pressure and force you to throw to a short, hot receiver. That's exactly what they did there. Will Muschamp, the defensive coordinator, works in harmony with Nick Saban, who is a defensive-minded head coach, and they are very aggressive, particularly on 3rd down.
Here's Cody Ridgway, and he will kick to the nation's leading punt returner. The return is on all the way. Ridgway's line drive sends Skylar Green way back. Whoa, what a start.
What a punt. Unreturnable, and then out of bounds inside the 10.
That is a 57-yard punt for Ridgway. Out of bounds at the 7. Vaught Hemingway Stadium on the campus of Ole Miss. 14:01 to go. Here is Matt Mauck, the 24-year-old junior quarterback, excelling this season. The 64% completion, touchdown to interception ratio is really terrific, and he leads the SEC in passing efficiency. Michael Clayton in motion on first down. Mauck throws from the end zone. Intercepted. Touchdown, Ole Miss. Travis Johnson.
Michael Clayton is going to be the intended receiver. That's him in motion right here. It's a bootleg, and Mauck is able to get to the outside, but he just throws it far outside of Michael Clayton, and Blanchard there for the interception.
Here's the extra point. It's up and good. That is a 6-yard return for the TD, the second of the season for the sophomore from Shannon, Mississippi, Travis Johnson.
And Chuck Grisbeck said 2 games in a row we haven't had a turnover. We've got to change that tomorrow. First defensive play, not only the interception, but 6 points on the board.
The 12th interception of the season for the Rebels. They get on the board first.
And remember, it all goes back to the tremendous punt by Cody Ridgway that went out inside the 10 and forced LSU to start that first possession deep in their own territory.
Now Lee Rogers will kick off. The deep men are Devery Henderson and Skylar Green, both dangerous. But this will go 5 yards into the end zone, touchback. And let's go back to the touchdown.
Well, here is where Travis Johnson is going to start out. He's right here. So he is going to be in man-to-man coverage, and as Clayton comes across, he comes with him. And watch him just kind of read the route, and then it's not a very good throw by Matt Mock. It's outside, and Travis Johnson in position to make the play. He read it all the way, and then he was helped by a little bit of a wide throw by Matt Mock.
And some pressure by Josh Cooper, who didn't go for the play fake at all. First down and 10, LSU. From the 20. Double tight end set. They hand it off left side. LP Spence, the middle linebacker, meets Justin Vincent and nails him.
Now, when you look at these two teams on paper, there really is not much comparison. Spence is going to come right here. He's going to shoot right through the gap and beat the block of Rudy Niswanger. And when you look at the lines, LSU is much bigger up front than Ole Miss. But what Ole Miss lacks in size, they make up for in tremendous quickness. They're a slanting, stunting defense, and they have a lot of quickness in their front seven.
Left side, Mock finds Clayton, and Clayton works out to the 29-yard line. And let's check this LSU offense. And they open up with 3 wideouts. The offensive line, Whitworth, Niswanger, Wilkerson, Peterman, and Rodney Reed. His 45th start on the right side. Justin Vincent, Skylar Green, and Michael Clayton, the 3 wides, along with Devery Henderson. And Eric Edwards is the tight end. Nick Saban, 5th-year head coach. 3rd and 1. From just short of the 30-yard line. David Jones is at second tight end, and Vincent gets the first down at the 31-yard line.
Pretty good run defense by Ole Miss, but they didn't need very much to make the first down.
Well, here is the Ole Miss defense. They've improved against the run this year. They're still susceptible to the big play and the pass. Cooper, Mitchell, Daniel Booth starts from McKinley, Boykin, Charlie Anderson. They play a 4-2-5. The 2 linebackers are Wade and Spence. And then the 5 defensive backs. Travis Johnson with the touchdown. Robinson, Oliver, Travis Blanchard, Vaughn Hutchins the other. And there is David Cutcliffe, head coach, Ole Miss. Clayton winds up wide to the left side on this first down and 10. 2 men wide right. And here's the handoff to Ali Broussard, the other freshman running back. This is a freshman by committee for LSU. We'll see Vincent and Broussard. They rotate. And then the 3rd down back now has become Joseph Adai, who was the starter at the middle of the year. See Vincent now with 466, Broussard 332. And the 3rd true freshman, Barrington Edwards, has chipped in with 155. Odd man out in this rotation is Sharon Carey, who was the featured back early.
Yeah, well, Carey has had trouble coming back from a knee injury in the Mississippi State game. He's healthy now, and I imagine we'll see him because he gives them a little different dimension.
The blitz picked up beautifully, but then the pass is short. Whitworth got back on the middle linebacker, and Justin Wade was caught short in his attempt to get to Mock before the delivery.
Yeah, and Ali Broussard did a nice job picking up the blitz too. And Matt Mock knows if his back makes that block, then he has to set his feet to make that throw. One of the things you worry with young backs, are they able to pick up the stunts and the blitzes? But when you go against a defense like LSU every day that does the same thing, it prepares you a little better for that.
3rd and 8. 3 men down.
Clayton concentrates and gets the first down. And 3 catches now for Michael Clayton. See, Johnson's in good position. He reads the quarterback. He breaks on the football, and he gets both hands on it. And Clayton able to stay with it and make the catch. Well, that's good work by Clayton on the sideline, knowing where his feet are, knowing where the football is.
1st and 10, third down conversion of this drive. Here's the toss and the sweep right side. Couple of nifty blocks. And Vincent with a stiff arm is hauled down by Travis Johnson at the 3-yard line.
Well, they have done everything better in those last 4 games. They've scored more, they've run for more, they've played better defense. And Matt Mock really has kind of set the tempo. He's played outstanding football in that 4-game winning streak. Even though his first pass was picked off in this game, has settled into the game rather nicely at this point.
He'll go from the spread now on 2nd and 14 at the 32. They hand it off, keep it on the ground. It's Vincent coming right and stacked up as he gets just inside the 30-yard line. So the 4th time in this drive, which began back at the 20-yard line, LSU looks at 3rd and long.
And one of the things to keep in mind in this ball game throughout the day is if Ole Miss has a distinct advantage. I mean, they may have a couple with Eli Manning, but another distinct advantage they have is in the field goal kicking. LSU with their 2 kickers, just 50% kicking field goals this year. So when you get to this point of the field, you might be a little bit more aggressive with your play calling, trying to go for touchdowns rather than set up field goals.
Again, 3 down. The corner blitz is timed perfectly. The pass is complete, but Joseph Adai is going to be forced out of bounds at the 28-yard line. So they came from the corner.
This is a defense that believes in pressure pretty much as LSU does. They do it a little differently, but they like to bring pressure often. And the screen pass was fairly well set up, but good pressure forced the throw, and Adai stepped out of bounds.
That's going to bring on Chris Jackson. He's only 2 of 4 this season. Ryan Gaudet kicked most of the year, and he might be kicking into a little bit of a breeze. Here's the boot. It's a good one. And he nailed it, breeze or not.
One of the things about Chris Jackson, he's a true freshman, and as the season has progressed, he's gotten more comfortable kicking off the grass instead of off a tee. No question about that one there.
Ole Miss LSU through the years. In 1959, Billy Cannon's midnight run on an 89-yard punt return sparked the Tigers to the upset win. Later that season, Ole Miss got revenge in the '60 Sugar Bowl, and in '61, LSU won another squeaker, 10-7, preventing the Rebs from becoming #1 in the nation. And in 1962, Ole Miss won 15-7 on the way to an undefeated season and an SEC title.
Unlike many who are a part of our broadcast, I remember those games vividly. Oh, they were good under John Vaught. And Paul Dietzel, 79 years of age, is now moved back to Baton Rouge. He was the head coach from 55 to 61. Charlie Mack took over at LSU. Charles McClendon. Here's Bryant. Brown got some room.
Wow.
Good tackle. Benny Brazel, world-class sprinter on the track team at LSU. Well, those golden years at LSU in 1959, the only loss was to this LSU team. 60, 10-0-1. In 61, 9-2. Lost in the Cotton Bowl to Texas, 12-7. And in 62, they were SEC champions with a 10-0 mark. That's Turner out of the backfield, setting up. They look for him, and what a good read by Corey Webster. Well, Peyton Manning is in a hotel room in Buffalo, New York, watching this game, and they do have similarities, don't they?
They look so similar. I mean, their body mannerisms, the way they throw the football, their mechanics playing the quarterback position. You know, I hate to say this, I love Peyton, but I think that Eli maybe is a little bit more mobile and does a little bit more with his feet, but both of these guys communicate so well with their teammates. They talk to their receivers, and they really play the position in a similar fashion.
Loss of 3 on the last play. Here's Turner going to the right side. And he gets across the 50 to the 49. Well, Peyton Manning and the Colts take on Buffalo tomorrow. The third brother, who started out as a wide receiver here at Ole Miss and then had a spinal cord, not an injury, but they diagnosed a narrow spinal cord. Cooper Manning is here with his wife, Ellen. And you know the Manning family well. You say he's the funny one, huh?
Yeah, he's the funny one. That's him sitting next to Archie. This is Cooper right here. That's Archie right there with the headsets and the hat and sunglasses. And yeah, it's a great family. I mean, and Cooper is the biggest fan that Eli and Peyton have.
Here's Eli, right side, delivers. It's caught by Kerry Johnson, and that will, yes, it will be enough for the first down. First Ole Miss first down of the game. Jack Hunt with the tackle.
Now the key when LSU wants to blitz, and here's where the blitz is going to come, is Eli finding, okay, where's the safety? That's my best matchup. If Jack Hunt is coming over to play man-to-man and he's off, that's where I'm going with the football. Let's pick up the blitz, and let's find the best matchup that we have on the field. And that's exactly what he did that time.
Well, they have the full complement of wide receivers. They use 6. And that was Kerry Johnson with the catch. Tate Biddle is on now. Play fake Manning. Here's what you were talking about. And he's going deep to Biddle, who's got a man, and it's tipped away incomplete.
Nice play by Travis Daniels. He was beat on the play. It was a good throw. It was a good call. And it was excellent makeup speed by Travis Daniels to get to the football. Biddle is the fastest receiver. Daniels gets there, and it actually hits him in the back. There is no face guarding in college football, but he had good closing speed to the receiver to get his body in position.
Travis Daniels, a junior from Hollywood, Florida, at 6'1", 181. On second down now, and 10. Manning goes from the spread. LSU with 4 down. They bring only 4. Quick flip right side. And that is Mario Hill, another of his complement of wide receivers. He gets 5. It'll be 3rd and 5.
We take another look at this play. A couple things. Not only did Biddle have to worry about Travis Daniels, he also had to fight the sun, looking right back into the sun on that long ball. And I hope he could see it better than I could on that replay.
Jesse Daniels has come on as a 6th back. That's the end of one from Vaught Hemingway Stadium in Oxford, Mississippi. 7-3 will return after this message and this word from your local station. We all welcome you back to Oxford, Mississippi. Vern Lundquist, Todd Blackledge, Jill Arrington. 7-3 Ole Miss. The touchdown came on a Travis Johnson interception return. A 45-yard field goal put LSU on the boards, and now 3rd and 5 for Eli Manning and the Rebels of Ole Miss. Stunts by the LSU defense, and the pass deep right side is incomplete. And that's going to mean Jonathan Nichols will have a chance to come on and kick a very lengthy field goal. He's missed only 1 this year. Well, impressions of the first quarter.
Well, I think the story so far has been the Ole Miss defense and their ability to play. They got the first touchdown, the only touchdown in the game with the interception. LSU has rushed the ball 10 times for only 13 yards. So it's really been the Ole Miss defense that has kind of set the tone in the ball game so far.
Here's a Lou Groza finalist, Jonathan Nichols, 23 of 24 for the year. And this one,
punt. It was a pooch punt. They snapped it directly to Nichols, and he tried to pooch punt it, and it was not very effective. You know, that might have been a stretch for him. His long on the year was 54. He has made 3 of over 50 yards, but they were trying to play field position and pin LSU back again. This time, it kind of backfired on Jonathan Nichols.
LSU has the ball when we come back. 5:13 to go before the break. Ole Miss leading 7-3. The interception for a touchdown from Travis Johnson, countered by a 45-yard field goal from Jackson for LSU. That's the scoring so far. Here's the handoff to Vincent coming to the left, and this will be a face mask penalty.
Yeah, probably just going to be the 5-yard variety.
Eric Oliver and Kelvin Robinson were in the neighborhood, and looked like Robinson is going to be called for the infraction.
Now, this slanting defense of Ole Miss, I mean, they can make you look bad if they guess right. But if you guess right on a running play, you can gash this kind of defense. There's the face mask by Robinson.
Well, it is time now for the trivia question of the week. Why were all but 3 games in this series played in Baton Rouge from 1936 to 1964? During all of that time, they went down to the Bayou country. What was the reason? On 1st and 10, draw play, big hole, big run. Here goes Vincent. Out of bounds at the 16-yard line. Justin Vincent, the freshman, with a 44-yard gallop.
See, when you have a defense that likes to slant, if they slant into your run, they might make you look bad. But watch as the run gets outside. The slant's coming this way, and they catch him in it. The safety was coming on a blitz. He ran right by the run, and it was just good execution by LSU. Stephen Peterman leading the play. Michael Clayton blocking downfield, and a big run for the Tigers.
Vincent gets to rest, and Chiron Carey is in the backfield. Wearing number 2, he gets the handoff, starts right, comes back left, and is nailed. Double teamed by Blanchard and Anderson.
That time the backside rusher, the defensive back, or the safety Blanchard, didn't run by the run. He stayed in his area, and when Carey tried to cut it back, he was there to make the tackle.
Second down, 11. Well, for the season inside the red zone, 61%, 27 touchdowns out of 44 possessions. Nick Saban continues to pace. Michael Clayton goes wide right. And Devery Henderson is at the bottom of the screen. Play fake, roll out, Mark into the corner for Clayton. Got him at the 6-yard line.
Yeah, nice throw. Good timing. Good place for the ball on the outside of a big receiver. And a nice conversion for LSU. Play action, roll the quarterback out, change where his position is, and then watch the throw right to the outside of Clayton. Excellent execution.
That's a gain of 11. Well, this 4-game win streak led by Matt Mock, and during the last 4, look at this. But today, 2 interceptions, 1 return for a touchdown, the other fine defensive stand by LSU. First and goal. This is Vincent bouncing right, nailed for a loss all the way back to the 10 as Josh Cooper, number 99, led the defensive charge.
You know, you have to be impressed with how Ole Miss has played against the run. Now, they have given up a couple on this drive, but a lot of times when you see, well, they're averaging under 100 yards allowed rushing, and then you look at their passing and you see 300 yards a game, you think, well, nobody tries to run on them. But they actually have made genuine improvement in their ability to stop the run. They play a different type of defense. They always have an extra defensive back end, 4 defensive linemen, 2 linebackers, and 5 defensive backs. But they have played better against the run this year.
Second down, quick flip right side. Clayton cuts inside, gets a block, has a touchdown. Rodney Reed was out there, and boy, did he clear the way.
Well, and Michael Clayton waited for him. If he wasn't patient, then he would have gotten tackled short of the end zone. But Clayton had the presence to wait and let Rodney Reed get out there in front. Watch Clayton catch this ball off the line of scrimmage and then just hesitate just enough to let his guy get there. There's the block by Reed and the explosion into the end zone.
And already in this half, Clayton with 7 receptions for 74 yards and the touchdown on that last play. Chris Jackson with the extra point. It is up and it is good. Record crowd is gathered here at Vaught Hemingway. The official listed capacity is 60,500. Today, 62,552. That breaks a record that was set in their game against Florida in 2002. They have enjoyed this one as we've reached the midway point. The LSU Tiger Band. And let's go down to Jill, who is with David Cutcliffe. Jill?
Well, Coach Cutcliffe, we're used to seeing your offense putting the points on the board, but today your defense is really playing tough, keeping you in this game. Well, what will you do to open up your offensive game plan for Eli?
Well, we haven't done anything offensive. We just got to make some plays. We got to get some receivers moving, separating from coverage, and we got to protect it. We got to handle their blitz.
All right, Coach, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Jill, thank you. LSU leads it 10-7. Matt Mock found Michael Clayton for an 11-yard touchdown. That is the difference in the game at this point. 10-7 as we get set for the start of the 3rd quarter. The 3rd-ranked LSU Tigers against the 15th-ranked Rebels of Ole Miss. 10-7. Vern Lundquist, Todd Blackledge with Jill Arrington. Lee Rogers will kick off for Ole Miss. Corey Webster is one of the deep men. Devery Henderson as well. 3rd quarter underway. And this will be Henderson. He is at the 1-yard line. Does not manage to make the 20. He gets out to the 17. And a moment ago, Jill Arrington chatted with Nick Saban.
Well, Coach Saban, it's been a battle of the defenses out there. You've contained Eli well, but the turnovers and penalties are hurting you a little bit. What'd you tell the offense to eliminate those?
Well, I just think we need to have more focus and poise on execution and what we're trying to do. I think we just played with too much anxiety and all that, made too many mistakes and stopped ourselves a lot. So, you know, I think in the second quarter we started to settle down a little bit. It's going to be a tough game for us defensively because they're a good offensive team. We're going to have to continue to play well on defense, and we need to get some turnovers.
All right, Coach, thank you.
Mock on first down with a handoff. The cutback play. They come to the left, and this one is stopped at the 21-yard line. 10-7 the ball game. And the offense of Ole Miss pretty much held in check, Tom.
Yeah, really have. I mean, they came in averaging 460 yards a game, under 100 in that first half. And we talked about it being a classic battle of strength versus strength. Well, in that first 2 rounds, the winner was LSU, the LSU defense. Now, Ole Miss has 2 more quarters to try to make some corrections and see if they can find some creases against this LSU defense. But the good news for Ole Miss, as Jill was pointing out, the Ole Miss defense has kind of held its own against LSU.
And here's Mock back.
Nice move.
Yes, it was.
What a great effort by Matt Mock. He was dead in the water again.
Mock is going to be just short of the first down on 3rd down.
You know, one of the things that might be happening now is this Ole Miss defense that has played so well, maybe getting a little tired. That's the 7th missed tackle in the ball game, and that's what happens. Your legs go first. When you start to get tired and you start getting a little sloppy with your technique, you start missing tackles.
3rd and 1. That's Justin Wade. Double tight end set, backs in the eye. Handoff. That should be enough to move the chain. And this week's Home Depot coach's decision.
Well, Chuck Drisback is the defensive coordinator, and his decision is to play 4 defensive linemen, 2 linebackers, and 5 defensive backs. These are all the defensive backs, and that's the system that they play. And sometimes it's like having a nickel defense on the field all the time. It's good against passing. Sometimes you wonder, is it okay against the running game? Well, in a game like today, they've held their own pretty well against a good running football team with the 5 defensive backs on the field all the time.
Chuck Drisback in his second turn as the defensive coordinator here at Ole Miss. There's Sharon Carey going right. Tackled at the 48-yard line. 2nd down and 6. And this time, nothing doing. Well, B.J. Simmons lit up this Ole Miss defense. One of their 2 losses. They lost to Memphis. They lost a double-digit lead in that game. And then here on this field, 661 yards passing for Simmons and Texas Tech.
6 touchdowns. I asked Chuck Drisback about it. He said, now picture this, if you're a quarterback, you've got 1 minute and 30 seconds left, and you got to score a touchdown, and you have the ball. I said, okay, 2-minute type options. Now do that every time you have the football. That's what playing Texas Tech is like. That's the kind of offense they play, but Oklahoma handling them today.
3rd and 9 here for LSU. They lead by 3. Blitz coming. Mock goes across the middle, almost picked off for the 4th time.
I think he got a little bit locked in on Michael Clayton that time, too, on the crossing route, and may have missed Devery Henderson for a big play. Take a look at this again. Now Henderson is going to go to the post, and Clayton's going to run the in route, and I think he kind of got locked in on Clayton and may have missed Devery Henderson down the middle for a big play.
And Donnie Jones is on the punt. 4th and 9. SB steps away from it, and this is, oh my
Beautiful punt.
Wow.
Man, is that perfect. With this defense, put them on the field with Ole Miss on their 2. That is beautiful.
That's a definition of bad news if you're Ole Miss. David Cutcliffe, his team now on offense at the old 2. Good news in the Cutcliffe family last night, though. His son Chris is a starting quarterback as a junior for the Oxford Chargers. They went 2 hours north, and Chris threw an 87-yard touchdown pass, a missed extra point, and Oxford goes into the semifinals in Class 4A. The depth of our research knows no boundaries.
And that's Louisville. If you're in Kentucky, it's Louisville.
Yeah, that's true.
Here it's Louisville. In Ohio, it's Louisville.
In Texas, it's Louisville. But in Kentucky, it's Louisville. Running play. Now, Donnie Jones just did that punt perfectly a moment ago.
And see, this is the first time that it feels like the field has been flipped. It goes out on the 2. It's perfect execution. And for the first time, LSU feels like they're way back deep, has Ole Miss pinned back in their own territory.
Donnie Jones, 5th-year senior from Baton Rouge. 2nd down and 10. Seems like Ole Miss has been in this spot all night long, but not in this kind of desperate territory. Deshaun Pearson with the carry, and here we go again. 3rd down, and the house will be coming.
And it's the front, though. The defensive front 4 is the rock of this defense. That's the immovable object. Those 4 guys up front. And when you can't run on them, and you have trouble blocking them in the pass game, then you can be creative. You got lockdown corners on the outside. You got fast guys who can blitz off the corner. But those front 4 guys are not, they're just not moving them anywhere.
3rd and 8. Ole Miss has converted 1 of 9 third downs in the ball game. Manning out to the right side. Chris Collins. He'll be close. Collins near the 12. See if they call for the measurement here, if they give them the first down.
Great effort. This is a one-man route. Maximum protection. Keep everybody in, and let's go to our best guy, Chris Collins, and let him fight for the first down. There was a little bit of a cushion there by Travis Daniels, and that enabled Collins to catch it and turn it upfield.
So the chain makes the long trip from the far side. Here is the stretch. Short. Drama.
Very short.
Not change of channel.
No brain decision, no, for David Cutcliffe, because he can't afford to get stopped on 4th and 1 inside his own 15-yard line.
Hey, you look back at this game and the opportunities that Ole Miss has, and how some of are just narrowly missed. Chris Collins gets loose on a 76-yard pass. Would have given them 1st and goal. Is ruled rightly to have stepped out of bounds at the 49-yard line, and they came up short.
See, when you play a team as good as LSU, that's the number 3 ranked team in the country, and you get opportunities, you have to be able to take advantage of it. And they just haven't been able to do that with the good field position and the turnovers.
Ridgeway controls the high snap and sends Carey all the way back to the 37-yard line. Yes, it was. Carey's down at the 43. So all in all for Ole Miss, they come out of this pretty well. There's a flag down at the 41-yard line. A 51-yard punt and 5 on the return.
And if this goes against LSU, it's going to knock them back out of great field position again. There's a nice low driving punt by Ridgeway, and then it could be a penalty on top of it that really negates that great field position they thought they were going to have by forcing the 3 and out.
During the return, the illegal block in the back gets the receiving team 10 yards from the spot of the foul. First down.
See, one of the problems is they've gone to the 2 guys back now to try to offset the directional kicking. And that penalty was on Skylar Green, who's used to just catching it and running. He's not used to blocking it when someone else catches it. And he's the guy that was guilty of the illegal block.
So after the penalty, LSU opens up for business at the 31-yard line. Matt Mock, 24-year-old junior, trying to decide whether he wants to come back for a final year. Here's Mock back, quarterback draw again, and effectively stopped at the 31-yard line. All right, how pretty is this scene in Oxford, Mississippi at Vaught Hemingway Stadium? Here's Mock. Got a man wide open. Boy, they gave Skylar Green a big cushion. Vaughn
Too
Hutchins
much
did.
cushion.
Yep.
Too much cushion. I mean, you respect their speed, but don't make it so easy. I mean, you've got a quarterback who's struggling a little bit, maybe struggling with his confidence. You know, he's holding on to the ball a little bit longer, not releasing it on time a little bit. He's thrown 3 interceptions, but you give him an easy one there for the conversion.
For the day, 14 of 27 for 133. Eli Manning, 11 of 25 for 95, 1 interception. First down and 10.
Big cushion for Clayton at the bottom.
Screen pass over Skylar Green's head, incomplete.
See, Matt Mock is, to me right now, because of the fact that he's had some problems, he's kind of guiding the ball. He's not just confidently setting up and throwing it. He's guiding it a little bit. And what happens is when you really try to be accurate and guide one in there, most of the time you don't throw it as well as if you just set up and let it fly.
Well, Matt Mock has been terrific on the road throughout the season. 73%. That's best in the country. Phillip Rivers, you saw from NC State, second. Here's Mock with a rollout. And he'll tuck it again and run it. It'll be 3rd and 7 or 8. Josh Cooper with the tackle. Well, sunset in Oxford. Beautiful scene and an intense game. Nick Saban has walked, I think, more miles than Lou Holtz usually does. That's the end of the 3rd quarter with our score 10-7. We'll return to Vaught Hemingway Stadium right after this message and a word from your local station. Back at Ole Miss, Chucky Mullins is a player who is revered by this university. He came here as a freshman in 1989. Injured, lived for 2 years with the injury before succumbing to it. Each year, one player is chosen for the Chucky Mullins Award. They wear his number. Jamil Northcutt has it now. Here is Henderson, and he's in for the touchdown. My goodness. Matt Mock, Devery Henderson, 53 yards.
A 3rd down and 7. Before that play, LSU 6 of 12 on 3rd downs, which is excellent. That's the biggest 3rd down conversion of the ball game. Everybody on the Ole Miss defense thinking Michael Clayton, and Devery Henderson is the guy who makes the play. A little half roll to get Matt Mock out of the pocket, and then he finds the matchup he wants. Nobody near Devery Henderson for his 10th touchdown catch of the year. And
there is that susceptibility to the big play that bites Ole Miss badly. 53 yards. Henderson from Matt Mock. And it's a 17-7 lead for the Tigers. A 53-yard toss for the touchdown, Todd, and with this defense, that might be enough.
Yeah, that was an excellent play. Now, Ole Miss is going to blitz, but they're playing zone behind it, and when Clayton runs the hook, Henderson is going to run the corner behind him, and I think this guy, the corner, is the guy that made a mistake because he gets caught up staying in on Michael Clayton instead of defending the deep 3rd, and they ran the pattern right behind him for the big play and the touchdown.
Devery Henderson getting congratulations from Michael Clayton. LSU plus 40-yard pass plays, 10 now for the year. And here is the kick from Jackson. Scoots along the ground, taken near the 13-yard line. Chris Collins is going to be stopped as he gets out across the 25-yard line. Well, we talked at the beginning of the day about this Louisiana State defense, and my goodness, they exceeded even the expectations that we had.
Yeah, I thought Ole Miss would have a little more success, you know, making some plays against them, but they have not been able to block their blitz. They haven't been able to separate from the press coverage, and they haven't run the ball worth a lick. And so when you can't run it all, it puts it all on the quarterback, Eli Manning, and this LSU defense definitely as good as advertised.
And on 1st down, Manning is back out. 98 yards total offense through 3 quarters for the Rebels of Ole Miss. Here's Manning. Here comes the blitz. And Eli Manning is downed.
Marquise Hill. And that's not even a blitz. I mean, that's a 4-man rush. And it's just those 4 beating the 5 up front. And here's Marquise Hill, number 94. He's just going to go right through his man to the quarterback. There's enough blockers in there to block the guys with white shirts on, but they just didn't do their job. Marquise Hill with his 2nd sack of Eli Manning today.
At a 2nd down and 15 after the loss of 5. Manning sacked twice, intercepted once. High formation. Manning back into heavy traffic. Tay Biddle makes the grab, and that will leave a 3rd down and about 6. 3rd down. And Eli Manning throws this one out. A flag is thrown. We could have defensive holding here. Or shoving off. What do we got? There's Marcus Spears. Holding defense. Now let's check out the CBS Sportsline stat of the game. Rushing yards, 129 for LSU. 44 of those set up the first touchdown. And Ole Miss -2. Get all your complete college football stats at cbssportsline.com.
Well, they caught a break there because they were 1 for 10 on 3rd down, and they weren't going to convert that one if they made the catch. But the penalty got them the first down.
First down and 10. Backs in the eye. Play action. Manning. Again, nobody there. Pocket collapses.
See, there's no threat of the run. They have no fear of the running game, and so they can play pass every play. These front 4 guys, you know, when you don't have to play the run or respect the run, even with a play action fake, you can kind of pin your ears back and beat pass blockers. And that's what they're doing right now. Again, press coverage outside, so they force every throw to be a pressure throw. And this LSU defense, 33 sacks, and they've had 6 different guys that have had at least 3 sacks this season, so it's not all the same guys.
Got a good view of Will Muschamp, the defensive coordinator. Second down and 14. Stunts again defensively. Manning drills it. SB dives after the initial contact. It's incomplete. Travis Daniels was defending that one.
See, I really think that one of the things that happened to this LSU defense from when we saw them earlier, first of all, Jack Hunt was hurt one game, and he's a key guy because he's the quarterback of this defense. He makes all the calls in the back end. He makes sure everybody is straight and in the right spot, and he wasn't playing. And the other thing is Travis Daniels was a safety and not a full-time corner. Now that they have Daniels and Webster as the 2 corners, they have tremendous confidence in both of those guys, so they can do a lot of other things inside with everybody else.
3rd and 14. That has become a familiar refrain ringing in the ears of Eli Manning. He goes deep for Flowers. Over the shoulder. Catch is made.
Great read by Eli Manning. And they knew exactly what they got. The hardest blitz to pick up is the corner blitz, but he saw Webster coming, so he has the protection. That means the safety's got to come over and cover the wideout. That's a mismatch. You'd rather have a corner. They picked up the blitz. They had one-on-one with the safety, LaRon Landry, and it's a perfect throw by Eli Manning. He was ready for the corner blitz. He set the protection to pick it up and then made the throw.
That's the first catch for Bill Flowers, a 43-yard gain and a first down at the 20. I formation, a 10-point ball game. And here's Deshaun Pearson. Breaks into the secondary and rips it across the 10 for a 12-yard pickup.
And that's 14 more yards rushing than they had before that play. They had -2 before that play. A nice hard north and south run by Deshaun Pearson, and a little bounce in the step of the Ole Miss offense after 2 good plays.
First and goal. Collins comes near side.
LSU has been outstanding in the red zone this year. Opponents only 19 opportunities, only 9 scores.
Rosano leads the way as Pearson tries to go over right guard, but he's stuffed for a loss back to the 10. Nick Saban continues to pace. Pearson, no gain, lost a couple.
9 scores against this LSU defense in the red zone, 5 touchdowns, 4 field goals. That's a 47% they've allowed points to be scored when teams have been in their red zone.
Archie Manning looks on. The nails have disappeared. Second down and goal. Pearson out of the backfield. Here's a quick setup for Manning. Nobody open. Now fires it. It's incomplete at the 5-yard line. Travis Daniels defending. Third and goal.
Good coverage by LSU on the intended receivers. The 2 wideouts, SB and Collins. And he tried to come back to his running back as a secondary receiver.
3rd and goal. 10 touchdowns this season, fewest in the nation.
And when they get you 3rd down in the red zone, they are they're extra tough.
And they threaten the blitz again. They are coming again. Eli Manning, Pearson, touchdown, Ole Miss.
That is how Florida scored against this LSU defense. A free release of the running back right through the middle of the defense, and nobody picked him up. When the Florida Gators upset LSU, this is how they did it.
Brandon Jacobs slipped out of the backfield and caught the touchdown.
Normally you keep the back end to block against the blitz. They free released him and nobody picked him up.
Extra point is up and good. They got a big break on a defensive holding call on 3rd down. Eli Manning hit Bill Flowers over the shoulder for 43 yards. And now Archie Manning applauds as his youngest son hits Brandon Jacobs for the touchdown. Well, this record crowd of 62,000 plus had been quieted for much of the second half until Brandon Jacobs went into the end zone and cut the lead to 3, 17-14. And a 3rd down conversion, only the 2nd of the game.
Is this any good or what? Man, oh man.
Well, this is my first trip ever. I've been doing this for a few years. I've never been to Oxford, Mississippi. I would recommend this experience in its totality to anyone who loves sports, and particularly college football. Here's the kick from Rodgers. Skylar Green at the goal line will come back. Near side, watch out. Watch out again. Watch out for a 3rd time and a 4th. And let's revisit the touchdown.
Well, LSU's a blitzing team, so when they blitz, these guys are going here with the coverage, but nobody is going to pick up Brandon Jacobs when he comes out. Even if you're blitzing linebackers, somebody has to peel off and be responsible for that guy. They called it perfectly, the exact same thing that Chris Leak hit him with when Florida upset LSU in Baton Rouge. Free release the back against the blitz and get him the ball for the touchdown.
1st and 10, LSU, Matt Mock. In at quarterback, threw 53 yards to Devery Henderson a moment ago, last possession. And this running play is dropped. Justin Wade and LP Spence collaborate for the tackle. First time these two teams have both been ranked since 1970 when Archie Manning was the quarterback. They play before a record crowd of 62,500. They came into the game with Ole Miss having won 6 in a row in the SEC West. LSU had dropped 1 game in the SEC, that to Florida. If Ole Miss wins this, they earn a trip to Atlanta. If LSU wins, they can get to Atlanta by defeating Arkansas next Friday or having Ole Miss lose to Mississippi State. And it has been as advertised.
And here's the interesting thing now for Nick Saban. When he had a 10-point lead, I think he was willing to be pretty conservative on offense. His quarterback had thrown 3 interceptions, and he thought, my defense is going to win this thing for me. 10-point lead is going to be pretty good. Well, now it's a 3-point lead. And now with Eli Manning on the other side with 10 minutes left in the game, he can't be conservative.
3rd and 8. Blitz coming. Spence, the middle linebacker. Mock avoids him and is caught short of the 1st down. LSU will have to punt.
Yeah, I just feel like what they're telling Matt Mock right now is when we call a pass, you take a look, and if it's there, throw it, and if it's not, you run. Don't hang on to it. Don't force it. Run. And if we have to punt and play defense, we'll punt and play defense.
Under 9 to go, a 3-point game. Donnie Jones punting for the 6th time. He's had a superb evening. Mike Espy at the 25-yard line. Good one.
Another beauty.
Yes, it is. Espy with a fair catch at the 14. 49 yards, nothing on the return. 8 minutes, 34 seconds left. LSU by 3. First down and 10 here. Eli Manning, 3 fourth-quarter comebacks. Vandy, Florida, and 2 weeks ago at Auburn, he took them 80 yards. This time, they need 86 for the go-ahead touchdown. Pearson, pressure, gets out of the backfield and scoots out near the 19-yard line. Second down and 5. Backs in the eye. Corner blitz coming. They come the opposite way. There's the attempted stiff arm, but a nice tackle.
Play.
Wow.
Eric Alexander, the senior, great story. I mean, this is a guy who was a backup defensive back for his first 3 years, played on special teams. Nick Saban went to him and wanted to move him to linebacker this year. And he was a little hesitant at first, had a great off season, worked harder than he'd ever worked, and he's enjoying a fine senior season as an outside linebacker.
3rd and 3. Rushing yards, 134 to 11.
This is a run formation for Ole Miss, but it might be play action with maximum protection and a one-man route.
Tight end starts in motion to the right side. Play fake. Manning rolling out. Finds his receiver. That is a first down at the 30-yard line as Rick Rosano makes his 9th catch of the season. It's good for 9 yards. Move the chain.
Yeah, they fooled him. Now they went play action, and instead of keeping those backs in to block, they released the fullback out. Bootleg to get him out of the pocket. A quick flip to the fullback, and a nice conversion on 3rd down. And struggles on 3rd down throughout the whole game until the last 2 possessions.
Here's Rosano, injured much of the year. Came back a couple of games ago. First down and 10. High formation on first down. Manning back under heavy pressure, throws it deep right side. Adjustment. Flowers at the 40.
How in the world did he make that throw? He's backing up. He's off balance, and he just flings it as hard as he can to the right sideline. LSU there with the pressure. Lavalais bearing down. He throws it as hard as he can with no momentum, and Flowers adjusts to the ball as Travis Daniels falls down and makes the play. Remember, against Auburn 2 weeks ago, Bill Flowers was the guy who made the big catch on 3rd and 11. That one just as big.
That was a 31-yard gain, a first down just inside the 40. Draw play, left side, stiff arm, break a tackle. Tremaine Turner to the 34-yard line, a gain of 15. Now, 2 weeks ago at Auburn, they were down. Eli Manning put this team on his shoulders, and they went 80 yards. Got the go-ahead. They had a scare at the end, but survived it 24-20. Now they're trying to come from behind. Ole Miss trails LSU by 3. First down. Backs in the eye again. Draw play. Manning, Turner, right side. Dropped. Well, that 2 weeks ago in hostile territory in Auburn with 7:20 to go in the game and Ole Miss down by 3. They completed 2 key 3rd downs. That was Flowers. And then Lorenzo Townsend on 3rd and 5. Brandon Jacobs scored the go-ahead as Ole Miss won it 24-20.
Now, the other thing to keep in mind here for Ole Miss is they've got the best field goal kicker in the SEC. So they don't necessarily have to score a touchdown here. A field goal, possible overtime. When you're playing at home, you love your chances to win a game in overtime like that.
Well, keep it on the ground. This is Pearson. Struggles and gets inside the 20 to the 18, and it brings up another 3rd down.
But just like 2 weeks ago, I mean, if you're David Cutcliffe and if you're an Ole Miss fan, this is exactly what you want. The game on the line in the 4th quarter, and Eli Manning, your quarterback, with a chance to win the football game. We talked about strength versus strength. The Ole Miss offense, the LSU defense. That's what it is right now. 3rd and 4 for Eli Manning.
That's Jonathan Nichols coming into the game, the most accurate field goal kicker in the country. He has missed 1 today. That was from 47 yards at the other end of the field. Here's Manning rolling to his left, pulling up, lobs it deep in the end zone, incomplete.
Ole Miss lucky they didn't get a holding penalty on Marcus Spears that time, who was chasing Eli Manning. That would have made this field goal attempt a little bit tougher.
Jonathan Nichols, a 6-foot junior from Greenwood, Mississippi, 23 of 25. He missed one against Florida in the win at Florida. He had 2 from 50 yards plus to win at Vanderbilt. And this will be from 36 for the tie. Cody Ridgway is the holder. And here's Nichols' kick on the way, and he left it out to the right.
That's two misses today for the guy who was the most accurate field goal kicker in the SEC before the day started.
Snap good, hold good, kick bad. And Nichols tried to draw it, and it stayed out to the right. Still a 3-point game. 4:15 to go in the ball game. 17-14. And LSU, after the missed field goal, has the ball and a 3-point lead. Coming up next, time permitting, the Olympus College Football Today Show back in New York. Spencer and Tim on first down, on the ground. Here's Vincent for 4 yards. Well, you might have noticed the LSU players are wearing a JB symbol. Jeff Boss was their longtime equipment manager. On September 12th, as he was suffering from brain cancer, he was given a game ball. On the 29th, the university named the football locker room in his honor. And on October 27th, Jeff Boss passed away after a 10-month battle with cancer. He was 54. The team honoring him by wearing the initials JB on their helmets and their jerseys. And you talk to these young men who play for LSU, and he was revered. 2nd and 6.
Timeout by Matt Mock. Didn't like what he saw. Probably a good decision.
Now Nick that's Nick Saban, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back. Delay of game was called before the timeout was used. So LSU penalized 5. They still do have all 3 timeouts. And here's Vincent charging out to the 25-yard line. It will be 3rd down. And let's take a look at the Fidelity Investment scoring recap. First touchdown of the game on the first LSU pass of the game. Mock rolled out, was intercepted by Travis Johnson, who strolled in. That made it 7-0. And then Jackson from 45 yards out made it 7-3. Michael Clayton got this little quick screen on the right side, a couple of clearing blocks. That made it 10-7 at the half. 53-yard pass to Devery Henderson. And then the touchdown pass to Brandon Jacobs, and a missed field goal kept the score at 17-14 just a moment ago as Nichols missed from 36. 3rd and 5. Mock across the middle. LSU will be forced to punt after the incomplete pass with 2:28 to go.
And what a costly penalty the delay of game was, because instead of being 2nd down and 6, it was 2nd and 11. And then they had the 3rd down play. And now they've got to give the football back to Eli Manning. A lot of costly little mental mistakes by the LSU Tigers today in the ball game.
Donnie Jones on to punt. Mike Espy this time at the 35-yard line.
Wow, another bomb.
Boy, he really boomed it all the way back to the 16. Espy to the 31-yard line. And as Ole Miss comes back on the field for perhaps the final time, let's go down to Jill.
Well, Vern, you were talking about Jeff Boss and how much he means to LSU. Well, Coach Saban said Jeff was as close to and respected by the players than anyone else that the team's been around. Everyone told us how selfless and giving he was with his unmistakable high energy all the time. And Chad Lavalais told me that they were so sad to see him go that he won't have to suffer anymore. He's always lifted everyone else's spirit, and now they're glad to see his spirit lifted too.
All right, Jill. Eli Manning, Ole Miss, 17-14, ball in the 32.
2 minutes and 16 seconds left. Ole Miss with 2 timeouts left in the ball game.
Manning fakes the draw, avoids the tackle, fires it out, incomplete.
Nice coverage. Randall Gay on coverage. Marquise Hill, who's had a monster game for LSU, applying the pressure to Eli Manning. Eli Manning had to run, and when he had to move, the ball was a little high, and Randall Gay able to strip it out before the catch was made. But Marquise Hill has just played outstanding today for Nick Saban's defense.
Total defense so far in this game, Ole Miss with 232 yards. 2nd and 10. Play fake again. Manning off the back. And there's SB open. Can't hang on. He was bumped by Jack Hunt.
Well, Corey Webster was totally lost. Number 13, who was in coverage. But he got help from his safety. But the first help came from Marquise Hill, who's going to be right into the lap of Eli Manning. Hit the arm as he's throwing, Marcus Spears rather. Got 84 and 94 mixed up. But Jack Hunt at the end of the play bailed out his partner out there, Corey Webster, because Webster was turned completely around and Hunt able to be there to knock the ball out.
3rd and 10. 2:01 to go. LSU leads by 3. 4-man rush this time. Manning inside, almost picked off. Corey Webster.
Boy, he had a beat on it, didn't he? 4 interceptions on the season. Has great instincts and a great knack for the football, and he just slipped right underneath Biddle and almost made a huge play.
4th and 10, 1:55 remaining. And Ole Miss will use a timeout to chat about this. 17-14 LSU. Just a moment ago, while we were away, both squads, the respective squads in their entirety, gathered around the head coaches, urging them on. And now 4th and 10. David Cutcliffe has given the play to Eli Manning. Nick Saban's defense has been called, and we're about set.
And one thing LSU needs to be alert for, if they're going to pressure Eli Manning, make sure that no running back slips out unaccounted for. They got him for the touchdown by doing that earlier. 2 backs in the ball game right now, Brandon Jacobs and Rick Rosano, both behind Eli Manning.
4th and 10. And the pressure is coming. Manning trips.
Oh, he got stepped on by his own guy.
It's all over. And Spears was in the middle of it.
And LSU is bringing pressure, and they've been pushing and pushing and pushing the whole game. And just, again, the inside push, right where the 2 centers and the guard, it was Buckles, the left guard, who stepped on the foot of Eli Manning, but he got driven back. Chad Lavalais drove him right back into the quarterback, Eli Manning. That inside pressure by this LSU defense, devastating.
1:50 to go. The ball exchanged, and LSU will keep it on the ground as Vincent dances through and gets to the 22-yard line. Ole Miss can stop it just one more time.
There's Chad Lavalais. We talked about him being the anchor of this defense. He just drives guys back, and the foot of Buckles stepped on Eli Manning. And the hope for a fantastic finish dashed in one moment.
Meanwhile, the emotional response of Marcus Spears as the dream remains attainable for LSU. And Archie Manning and his wife Olivia, their oldest son Cooper, his wife Ellen, an anticlimactic end to a saga that might have been written by William Faulkner here at Ole Miss. As Archie played here, Peyton went to Tennessee, Eli came back for the best of reasons, and it all comes to naught with 1:37 to go. Now, Ole Miss, if this stands as a 17-14 defeat for Ole Miss, LSU still has a game to play against Arkansas, and they must defeat Arkansas to get into the SEC championship game.
LSU will play Arkansas and Baton Rouge in 6 days. Ole Miss will play Mississippi State in the Egg Bowl in Starkville in 5 days. So both teams with a short week and an important game to finish their season.
On second down, Vincent, the freshman.
The only thing right now that can hurt LSU, and remember, you've got freshman running backs in there, is if they get a little bit loose carrying the football. Because right now, with no timeouts, Ole Miss, all they can hope to do is to strip the football out. So Matt Mock needs to tell these guys, Justin Vincent, the redshirt freshman, hey, keep both arms on the football, because the first guy is going to try to stand you up so another guy can come and strip the football out. If you feel them start to tug at the ball, get down on the ground.
3rd and 3. They hand it off to Vincent over the top. It'll be 4th down with 52 seconds to go.
I think LSU will just, I mean, they'll go for this. I mean, there's no point in kicking a field goal because, again, then you get in a situation they could possibly block the field goal. They let this clock go down as far as they can.
Now the Tigers come into Oxford for only the 11th time since this series began in 1894. And for Eli Manning, hopes of a trip to the SEC title game have perhaps evaporated. 4th and 1. Timeout. LSU. Well, we've taken a vote in spite of Batman's presence, and we have declared all 11 or 16 or 25, how many ever played for the LSU defense, as the collective player of the game. 27 yards rushing, 227 yards total. They sacked Eli Manning 4 times and picked him off once.
And it was strength on strength. The best offense in the conference against one of the 2 best defenses, Georgia and LSU. They kind of split 1 and 2 on all the major categories, but definitely the best scoring defense, not only in the SEC but in the country coming into the day.
High formation. They'll toss it to Vincent. He goes left. And they'll stop the clock now with 9 seconds to go to see if indeed he picked up the 1st down. And if not, it would be one more play for Eli Manning and the Ole Miss Rebels.
Well, possibly,
looks like they'll have it.
Yeah, possibly 2 plays with 9 seconds.
Right.
If they just throw a deep out route to try to get the ball out to around the 40 and then take 1 shot at the end zone.
Manning and his teammates on the field, trailing by 3.
You know, they technically only need a field goal to try to force overtime, but the ability to get into field goal range with 9 seconds with the ball on the 18, very, very difficult. So they'll try to get to about the 40 and then take 1 shot at the end zone.
Motion left tackle, 5-yard penalty, Ole Miss.
I've been very impressed with the front 4 of LSU. The front guys up there. We talked about the whole defense being the player of the game. Marquise Hill with 2 sacks today.
False start. Movement in the offensive line. 5-yard penalty. Remains 1st down.
Chad Lavalais, the anchor, the spiritual leader of this defense. Kyle Williams, the other inside guy. Marcus Spears, the defensive end.
1st and 15 with 9 seconds remaining. Manning rolling out, being chased, and puts it up for grabs. There's Collins down there, and looks like an alley-oop in the end zone, but it's at the 45, and this one is in the bank. (17-14) LSU.